I don't think that there was any obstacles that made me want to give up, but there's some major events in my life that have changed. I gotta go back to my point of view, because when you first start out in business, most times people are either young or on their own or out of whatever needs drives them. But when you actually are committed to someone else, and I fell in love and got married, every decision is not just affecting you directly, but it affects your other person. So that's not necessarily an obstacle, but you have to figure out how to use that as a motivator to make yourself better at what you do. When the club closed down, an example of using some of a bad scenario to make yourself better than what you do. When the club closed at Trader Vic's, and I alluded to that earlier, we had it pretty easy there. We had it easier than we thought. Shows were packed, money was coming in, everything's good. We moved downtown to a different market, lower end clientele, just a whole different, it's almost like moving to another city. And that obstacle in itself made you think, hey, maybe there might be an easier way to do this. But over those 2 years, we learned how to be better. We learned how to sell more tickets, how to use more of get a bigger reach, how to increase our product. We became more efficient as a company. So now, 2 years later, we're able to move back to our old spot. Our learning curve and our growth curve has increased, and we're able to be more successful in the same location than we were 2 years ago, because we had a hard knocks education of moving downtown. So in that case, that's when an obstacle can come by that makes you think, hey, am I ever gonna give this up, or am I gonna move forward with it? I think so far we're moving forward, but check back with us in another year. Maybe we'll have a little more success stories for you. It's difficult. It's not the easiest task in the world, because it's funny when you hear the cliches, more money, more problems. And then there was a popular band in the 90s that said, you ever had a welfare Christmas? The balance financially, it can't be your only motivator. Because if that's your only motivator, then you're never going to be happy, you're never going to be successful, because there's not enough money to make somebody happy. Spiritually, you have to have faith. And you don't have to be religious, but you have to have faith in whatever you're going to do. I have to have faith in myself, I have to have faith in the people that work with me. So there's a spiritual connection that kind of gives you that balance to life that we're lucky. We work in comedy. I get to make 200 people a night happy doing what I do. 2 years ago, when we were downtown, we did a local program, and basically anybody who had if you showed you were on some sort of assistance because you had lost your job, we gave them a free ticket and a real discounted drink package or whatever. And had this couple come up to me and they're like, thank you, we haven't laughed in months. And that's one of those moments where you're like, we're doing something that's not just financially benefiting us, but it's actually spreading some really good faith out there. I mean, goodwill, not good faith. And there's an aspect to our business that some businesses don't have. Understand, if you're selling bolts and nuts and screws, you're building a house that's secure. But for us, we were able to find that. So for me, that all ties back into what can I provide my family? I have obligations to my wife. My parents are getting older. My sister, unfortunately, she was laid off, and now she's kind of helping us out, and I was able to give her an opportunity to work for us. So the balance between family and spiritual and materialistic things and financial, you have to have you have to focus on what's important at that time. Without the money coming in, you can't support some other things in terms of your obligations to your family. But if you can't be there for them emotionally, not just financially, because you're too busy making money, then you're out of balance, you're out of whack, and in that case, then you're unsuccessful. You could have $1 million in the bank, but no friends, or you're not good with your family, then you're really not enjoying that. So I think the question kind of is like a 6-part question, the way I answered it, but it's basically finding balance and focusing on what's important at that time, so that way you can have that overall balance. And if it's financial at the time, sometimes you need to focus on finances. Sometimes you need to spend more time with your family, because emotional support is what they need. But at the end of the day, you have to be smart enough to find that balance, I guess. It's probably the worst way I could have answered that, but it kind of is the truth. Is don't doubt yourself. They always say, the most successful people, and I agree with this, they surround themselves with this nucleus of people that support them. Know that you're not the smartest person in the room or in this world, but have faith that you are the one that knows what's in the best interest for you and your company. So you're going to put your ideas out there, and people are going to give you, oh, that's a bad idea, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, or they'll give you reasons why you should do it. Listen to all of it. Take it all in. Surround yourself with very smart people, but don't lose the faith that you have in yourself and the direction that you want for your company. Because I think that's a mistake sometimes people do. Some people think they know it all, and they're going to do it without any advice or knowledge, and they're destined to fail. And then some people just do what everybody else says, and there's no real heart or soul to what they're doing, and that's not going to give them long-term success either. So the lessons I've learned is that I used to listen to people and I let them influence my decisions too much, and then sometimes I didn't listen to the right people. So the biggest lesson is, listen to everybody you can. Surround yourself with people that are smarter than you, but make sure that you're doing it, you're making decisions that is right for you, because you really have the best interest in your company.
All right, guys, we got one more question. How do you deal with negative people, the toxic dream stealers in your life? Mr. Joaquin, how do you do it?
Well, I think it's kind of funny because sometimes negative people can drive you. Like when you see somebody who's miserable and at what they do or they just come at you with this negative attitude, it makes you want to win them over. It makes you want to make them smile despite themselves. And I'm not just saying that because we do comedy. I'm saying that because there's so many people in our business that are so pessimistic, and they deal in entertainment, and they're really fake on stage. And I'm not talking about the guys who work at our club. I'm talking about other people. But at the end of the day, it's a big motivator when you see somebody who's just miserable doing what they do, and they're so aggressive and they're so anti this, and we can't do this, we can't do that. Just to tell them that you can, and this is how we do it, and we're going to do it our way. And you kind of turn that negative into a positive without being too reading rainbow kind of cliche-ish, but it motivates me. If I see somebody who's just, I hate this, I don't want this, and don't like that, I intentionally want to see that person smile. So if I can either win that person over or prove it to them, which may get them a little more upset, that it can be done in a positive manner, that's how I deal with negative people. They really do kind of drive our business and drive me. I've had a lot of people in my life that were, no, you can't do this, or no, I can't do that. I grew up in a town so small that everybody in our town, being from Spanish descent or Mexican descent, was, hey, they're not going to hire you because you're Mexican. You can't do that because that's their way of doing it, not our way of doing it. I'm like, no, they're not going to hire you because you didn't get educated enough, or you didn't hustle enough. I was like, that's why they're not going to hire you, not because of your color of your skin or where you came from. It all depends on what you do. It's all about your actions. And those negative people are the ones that have drove me to leave that small town. And I still love a lot of people from back there, but they drove me to go out and prove that you can be more than what people expect you to be. And that's how I deal with negative people.
All right, guys, you heard it direct from my buddy, Mr. Joaquin Trujillo. He definitely shared with us a lot of insight, a lot of different ideas and thoughts on how to become successful. If you've never been to the LA Comedy Club out here in Las Vegas, definitely you can get Mr. Joaquin's information in the description box below, and my information. And until the next episode of Success, I'll talk to everybody soon. Find me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, look up the LA Comedy Club. I'll have all the information you need to find him, and I'll talk to everybody soon.